In the bottom left side, we have ourselves a blue Zerg from Team Kaizi. That's right, just double checking. From Team Kaizi, it is Solar. And a man that, you know what, I've been saying is going to go to military pretty soon. It's going to happen, guys, trust me. I don't know when exactly, but one of these days it's going to be the last game I cast for him. Anyway, it's the Red Protoss, the Dragon Phoenix Gamerman himself. Give it up for Zest. Going to be a bummer when he does go out of the scene, but then again, to be fair, we did get ourselves a brand spanking old new kind of return to the scene, of course, as the Protoss hero makes his appearance on the scene once again. Very cool stuff. And, yeah, carrying on that Protoss torch, of course. Funny thing as well is that we have Hero in the tournament also today. Well, I say tournaments. It's a little bit of a show match kind of series, isn't it? There will be a competition for who gets to go onwards into the third best of 5 here today to get themselves that little bit of extra cash. But, yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure if this would qualify as a tournament. It's just 2 best of 5s, and then the winners of those 2 best of 5s get to do another best of 5, right? It would already be the semis and the finals then immediately, right off the bat. Just skip to the end bit, alright? Let's just do that. That's basically what this is, right? Just skipping to the end bit. Pretty standard openings here from both these players so far. Kind of curious to see what Zest will be going for tech-wise. We've been seeing him return to the Adept Glaive attacks a little bit recently. I think it is because, well, maybe the Void Ray High Templar strategy has been starting to get more and more figured out. We'll go for the Stargate regardless, so we'll see what happens there. It's a series, that's right, it's just a series. I like to pretend like it's, you know, the end of a really big tournament and these are the players that manage to get through. But then the nice part is that we kind of get to choose which players get to be in the semi-finals and the finals, right? Really, this is just, you know, the conclusion of their previous games. All the games they've played before. That's what they got them, got them here. Those were the preliminary rounds. Is that how it's called? Preliminary? Preliminary. Pre-eliminate. Because it's an elimination, right? I don't know. Anyway, I'm embarrassing myself now. But we do it with glee. Little scouting zergling there together with a, what's 4 drones? Oh my. That's not supposed to happen. 4 drones going down to the 2 adepts right there. We can see an Oracle in production here. Solar fully aware of that fact as well. Starting up a couple of Spore Crawlers right now. Not too many Zerglings. And run behind this, look at that. It's a Twilight Council. So, yeah, this is something we've been seeing Zest do a bit more often. And it could still be for Blink, right? We've seen him do that as well. Do the Blink attack. That could be really good at sniping the 4th base. But we've also seen him go for the Stargate and then transition into the Adept Glaive. And that is what we're getting right now. So, ooh, that is nice. Getting 2 larvae right here. A little bit of a bother, right? I mean, if you can't get those drones, you know, those other things are there for the picking. You may as well. Might as well just take those down. Third base for Zest as well, starting up the production right here. Could just be a fake, right, as he is... Well, let's see how many gateways we have. We only have 4 of them. Alright, so... Interesting. It could be that type of Adept Glaive style where he's going to try to apply the pressure, but he's not really going to try to commit, or... Because he has started up the probes again. There's no warp prison behind this. There's not really massive amounts of warp ins or anything like that. So yeah, just kind of comes out here, forces some units. He doesn't even have the glaives yet, so maybe there will be a follow-up still, to be fair. What's up, Matisse? How you doing, buddy? The most wonderful and magnificent coach in the universe. Alright, well, here he comes now. There are still quite a couple of adepts, but it seems like Solar is pretty well prepared. So things don't get a good surround, though, and now it's just pretty much up to the Queens. The Queens starting to run low on energy. Not quite sure do they have a transfuse available. At least one of them does. The adepts shedding on through. The Zerglings really low on their numbers now. How many do we have left? Okay, it is just the 2. Roaches are coming out of the production cycle right now, but Solo needs to stay on top of these drones. They need to run away from the adepts, otherwise he's going to lose a whole bunch of them. Oh my. Great targeting from Zest, though. You got to hand it to him. That is some nice control right there. That's 13 of these drones. That is rather impressive. That is more than I thought it would get, and or that it should have gotten, right? Thinking about this is only like a 4-gate thingamajig. There's no War Prism actively feeding units into it, but I suppose the strength of it is that you don't expect it. Being solo, you don't expect it anymore. So you don't go up to the very high Zergling numbers. You don't start up a couple of roaches just in case, right? And then you're just blindsided, and yeah, you just lose what, 13 more workers above the 6 other ones that you're losing along the way as well. Suddenly Zest with a worker advantage, looking down the pipeline of a blink upgrade completing with a couple of immortals here. 5 sentries available. This could very well lead him into just walking across the map and taking out another base. If not just straight up killing Solar here. See how it goes. His immortals are still back at home, which makes me wonder if that is intended. Right? You would want these immortals there, right? Am I crazy? Wouldn't you want those immortals there? Is he afraid of like a counter attack or something? Is that what's happening here? I'm not sure. Maybe with the Overseer there, he's trying to, you know, trying to trick Solar into thinking that he's not coming for him. Could just be waiting for the War Prism. It's kind of similar as he did with the Adepts, right? He poked in with the Adepts, forced out a good amount of Lings that were able to deal with that number of Adepts, walked backwards, very quickly afterwards, came running back in again. This time around, okay, well, grabs himself a reasonable couple of units, gets the Queen as well, just as a little gift basket presented to Zest. Oracle lurking around that area still as well, trying to find out where the army of Solar is and how big it is and such. Hallucinated Phoenix sees his base. And so far, I mean, I'm still wondering if Zest is even intending to move out here. He does have the War Prism, right? Where is this War Prism? It's just here. It's just hanging out, chilling. Having a good time. Interesting. Yeah, I really anticipated Zest to start pushing there, but maybe he didn't fancy his odds, so maybe he just wants to get himself into a later tier of unit composition. He's starting up the second Robo after all in the Robo Bay. He's gone back home. He's forced out a lot of roaches and ravages and such, right? So, I mean, I guess Solar feels now pressured into making something happen with these units still. Not entirely certain if he has to, but here he is at the other side of the map, and I don't like his odds against this amount of Immortals still, that amount of Blink Stalkers just ready to blink away and make life difficult. You won't be able to retreat either because of those Blink Stalkers. You're going to just lose everything. Meanwhile, we have Zealots on this 4th base as well. Doing a bit of harassment. Yeah, I don't think that was the right call there for Solar in a way, right? I mean, it didn't work out, so it's easy to say at that point in time, but maybe he underestimated the amount of units that Zest actually did make. Maybe he thought it was more of a bluff trying to force him to make units than it actually was. I don't know. Man, it's difficult to just say straight up what somebody else was thinking, huh? This ain't gonna work. Wait, I'm still trying, but I don't know if it's commendable at this point in time. Trying like this, it's not pretty, that's for sure. Oh dear, he's coming in again. Right. Well. This is not gonna work. This is never gonna work. This disruptor's there now as well. Losing some workers. So, Solar already struggling beating the army composition of Zest right now, as is. Because of his, you know, economy that just got absolutely trashed earlier on in the game. Which makes this a very difficult position, right? So, full Solar, in a way, you can understand him not wanting to take this late game. Because, you know, he lost so many workers and he got in such a hefty position, but if that was his conclusion, then if his attack at that point doesn't work out either, then he must realize that he's in a very, very dire situation. But then again, he's still on 5 base. Zest hasn't really touched his side of the map, so you can't really fault him for trying to stick in here. But I mean, as soon as those carriers are coming out, this is going to be a big problem for Solar. He's just trying to ramp up for one big more huzzah. One final attempt to break the camel's back here. But Zest just unloaded the entirety of the camel. And oh my, that is such a nice start already here for Mr. Zest. And he doesn't even need the carriers. He doesn't even need them at this point in time. Bottom left side, there's a blue Zerg player fighting for the KZ Gamers and Gamerettes. He is Solar. We don't really have a female version of the word gamer, do we? That is just, it's very, very modern. Top right side, we have a red Protoss player from the Dragon Phoenix Gamers and Gamerunos. He is Zest. Gamer Renatas. I don't know where we can take that. Who knows? Probably a couple of places. I guess we have gamer girls, right? Gamer girls, that is something somebody says at some point in time, probably. Right. Little probe harassment. I guess we're just going to be watching this for a little while, right? That is what's going on anyway at this point. Also, Destin, thank you for casting the On Fire and the torch. And Don Kira, thank you for the hype and also the torch. Very much appreciate it, guys. Helps us get more visibility on the platform. Anybody watching this on YouTube thinking like, wait, what? Torches? Hype? What? Fire? It's a Trovo thing. It's a streaming platform. They pay us money to get StarCraft 2 on their platform, and you know what? Any platform that wants StarCraft 2, I say deserves StarCraft 2. Here we are, giving them some of the best with some of the best players. Is this streaming on YouTube too? No, it's not streaming on YouTube, but we'll most likely have the matches at some point uploaded there, right? So it's never live broadcasted onto YouTube. This is a Trovo exclusive. So they're paying us, right? Trovo for the win. If you want to see it live, if you want to see it happen as we go along, then this is the place to be. If you're sleeping right now, however, and next week somewhere you open up your YouTube, I don't know actually how long it takes for these things to get onto you. It might take a couple of days, I don't know. Depends on how much of a catalog we still have to upload. We don't want to upload too much, but Man, there's a ton of StarCraft 2 Alpha X provides. It's getting ridiculous at some points. But anyway, what's happening in the game so far? We're having the Void Race, so no Oracle this time around. Doesn't tell us everything though. Zest a peculiar little man and can make things quite difficult to read for his opponent as well. Which I feel like his style is steering more and more so into the trying to be unpredictable kind of area. Which is one of the main strengths of Protoss in a way, right? Just catching your opponent off guard. Should put a point on the board there for Zest. I mean, he didn't win after all, right? Immediately going for the air weapons here. Zest. Alright. Now, Zest is the player that will go for the mass Void Ray. I'm more of a fan of the Phoenix myself, but the Void Ray definitely has its place in this matchup. But I think the Phoenix, I don't know. For some reason I always struggle more against Phoenix rather than Void Ray. I guess it might be because the Phoenix, right, they get in between your reinforcements and stuff, and then they pick up queens and hydras as they're just all on their lonesome. Gets difficult. Corruptors do a lot better against Phoenix than they do against Void Rays though, so something to consider as well. So now seeing these Void Rays up in the sky, making a lot of queens still. Making a hell of a lot of queens. Still making a lot of roaches also. Zest is, I believe, fully aware of this. I mean, he's got his Oracle here, checking out the main, seeing another one of those queens pop. Starting to make static infrastructure here. Setting up the defense. I think he's reading very well into this. As this will be quite a committed attack coming out of Solar here. Queens already parading themselves, showing their lovely Prada here. Alright. Coming in the Zerglings first, already on top of some of those cannons, immediately shutting those down. Very well done. It's nice to be able to do that before they even get started, of course. Shield battery overcharge will take place as well. The Queen's a bit out of energy and blocking the way for a lot of these roaches to come in. Well then. Is this gonna work? I don't know. I would like to be surprised. He still has a lot of stuff here. I mean, if he had a good concave and all his units were shooting, this would have. I feel like this would be over. But okay, he does manage to get it going. He does manage to push himself up here. Now just needs to manage to get those queens to actually kill any kind of Void Ray. Any single one of them. Any day now. Oh, they moved away again. It's not going to happen this way. But he does get the base, right? So that's a good thing. Zest there. This is troublesome for him. Ooh, nice recall on the probes there. Does manage to save those. Base goes down. Is this enough for Solar? This is a very committed attack. As you can see, he's still behind on workers overall. It feels difficult for him to just say, alright, let's go back home at this point in time. Needs to try and open up this area first as well. Destructible debris making it very difficult for all these queens to get up there. Void Rays just eagerly waiting for that to happen and once again start poking with every one of them onto, well, hopefully only 2 queens. Here we are, Void Rays. They are pretty strong, but are they going to be strong enough? We do seem to be struggling against the queen still. They are out of energy and we do have more shield batteries here though. So I believe, maybe, potentially, these Void Rays will be able to start picking these queens off. There's more queens coming in as reinforcements though. Ah, no, this must be too many Void Rays, right? 7 Void Rays, never mind, it's 6 Void Rays that get hit by the Biles. Trying to just dog down the Ravages right now, I'm not sure if that's the right thing to do. It's a rough... Yeah, you know what? This is definitely working now. This is definitely working. 6 Void Rays just don't do enough damage. They just... It's like they're not even there. Oh my, he made carriers? Wait, he made carriers? He's losing his natural base and he's like, you know what we need right now? Let's make the slowest building unit in the game. Alright, we've got 2 of them. Let's make 2 more. Yes, let's start another one up. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. I mean, all he has to do is really hold this, and if his air army grows to his size where it kills this, it's gonna kill all of this as well, right? Like, no problem. It's gonna march over there and just get it done. The problem here is that he seems to be lacking interceptors on the carriers here. Sending them out one by one, which is not the greatest. Alright, pylons are down on the low ground. Zest finds himself an opportunity to get the reinforcements shot down. Very nice. The Queens now on their last push up onto this ramp. Man, it's ridiculous. You do just have to kill your opponent with this, don't you? Alright, Biles, nicely dodged. Carriers have a couple of interceptors now, but the transfuse, it was still good. I think it's ran out now, though. Only 4 or 5 interceptors remain. Make that 3. Make that 2. Okay, that is not the greatest. How many queens do we still have? 5 queens. Yeah, the Void Rays and the carriers are going to hold this now. Or are they? Or are they? My dear lord, where did all those queens come from? 7 queens just out of nowhere popping up. To be fair, those carriers can just run up the ramp here and then wait for their interceptors to come back. Those queens are not going to reach the top of that ramp in time. Okay, Solar finally realizing, you know what, this main base area might not be the place to try and break my opponent right now. Getting these queens on the way back would be quite lovely for Zest. They are quite close to the creep already. It's like watching a National Geographic series, and the queens on their march back to safety, and there they are reaching the safe shoreline of the creep infested waters. Oh, and Zest steps out. Alright, GG is cold. Solar prepared, back at home, had the Hydras, had the queens, the Spore Crawlers, all of it. Somebody changes their idea to, you know, actually have the word Mr. in there, I might start saying Mr. Zest or something like that, right? If he was called Mr. Zest already. Mr. Zest. That would be fun. That would be nice. New generation of pro gamers, get on it. Get on it, boys and girls. Light Shade, not the biggest map either. The other one, of course, very short with the acceleration zones as well. Just pointed out in the chat. And Solar making great use of that. I guess it really works out well against an opponent that is specifically trying to go for a quick carrier kind of play, right? Really just stops it dead in its track. Oh, my bad. My apologies. That. With that, the spawning pool finishes. We will have queens. We will have zerglings frolicking around. Trying to find a nice meal. A little Protoss probe to have as a sandwich. Okay, Stargate play once again from Zest here. We'll see him, well, just have to decide again between the Oracle, Void Ray, or Phoenix. And then even if he wants to go for the Twilight Council regardless, right? This is the fun thing about this Stargate. It's like, alright, well, I don't know what's gonna happen. We're not that log-centered into something. It's still a bit of a puzzle for us to figure out. And for Zest, it probably is as well, right? He still is feeling out his opponent, checking out what he's going for. And maybe based on that, he's going to change his own mind about the build as well. It's very adaptable. Interchangeable. It's like an opening with versatility in mind, right? Right off the bat, it has just so much versatility. So many directions you can still take the game. Killing the Overlords, just the start here, hopefully, for Mr. Void Ray. Happily chugging along the map right now, trying to find some more victims to lay waste to. There we go, lovely, number 2. Oh, he's quite happy with this hunting area here. For no, never mind. Yeah, he is. Okay. So let's seize the 3rd base. Always nice. Starting up quite a couple of Zerglings right now. Not entirely sure if he's aware of the double Stargate play, or, you know, the upgrades from the Cybercore coming in. Don't think he really saw... Actually, maybe he saw it move. I don't know. Once again, the Roach Warren. Lair as well here, part of the plan. Still making drones though. How many Zerglings did we go up to? Only 13, so that's good. That's a good amount to kind of, you know, keep our adepts in check. Keep an eye out on the map. Be able to do that type of versatile stuff. Game of StarCraft 2 sometimes remarkably a lot about being flexible. Not as much in the physical sense, but just in the mental sense, since it's in the, you know, the way you operate in the game. Whether that is flexible with your unit composition, flexible with your own strategy, where you're expanding towards, all that type of stuff. Different approach this time from Mr. Solar. Looks like he's going with the Spire instead, and the Spire, no, that could be pretty cool to see. We haven't seen him play that yet in this series, so... You know, with that previous game, it almost felt like... It almost felt like Solar got 2 wins in a sense. Or like I was looking at the scoreboard and I felt like, well, that ain't right. Didn't Solar win 2 games? He won one with the Queen push, and then he won the other one by killing the Void Race at his own base, but that was all the same game. One and the same. Overseer here gonna be able to identify what is happening. 3 Stargates with a fleet beacon right there as well, accompanying them. Knows that he has to get on the path of the Corruptors. Immediately throws down a infestation pit as well. We don't see the Hydra Den just quite yet, so wondering if Lurkers are still on the menu here for Solar, or still on his mind. To just be able to have that tech, right? If you need it, it's nice to just have it available, since it takes quite a while before they are readily accessible, right, for the Zerg. Quite aggressive queen movements here, considering the amount of air units that are available in the area. Useful queens, well, I guess they do have their brigade of corruptors here to protect them. 12 of them floating around right now, yeah. Solar looking to start breaking this fourth base. He's not appreciating the speed at which Zest is expanding at. But at the same time, he's not feeling all too confident right now in his corruptor numbers, it seems. Waiting for a couple more to arise. Checking to see the left area. If he gets a ton of corrosive biles on the cybercore, that would already be pretty good. I guess the air army a little bit too close regardless. Right. In it for the long haul. Taking 5th bases and really securing their own bit of land. Staking a claim to all these areas right here on their own side of the map. Solar, of course, wants to try and deny a couple of bases for Zest here at least. Wondering which way that is going to go towards. So now Zest is more posturing towards the top area. I feel like this is where he wants to start pushing, which means this might also be the area where he starts expanding towards. Which might leave the bottom left side open for Solar to take. He does pick up on that fact. And again, a mobile flying Protoss army is it's pretty good at just getting to wherever they need to go. Especially considering they have the recall ability as well. And Zest, not uncommon for him to get a mothership involved with this entire thing as well. Right, he is a player that likes to be a little bit sneaky. Run around with the mothership and be able to threaten 2 areas at once. Which is very important to do in these types of late game situations, right? Having your opponent struggle to keep up with your movement. One of the strongest things you can do in StarCraft 2. I guess in any war, right? If you're just there, ready to set up, you get to, you know, make your ditches, you get to make your concaved areas where you have good line of fire on everything. It's gonna help you out. Zerglings attempting what the Corruptors dared not try. Zest, okay, Zest will start pushing towards this bottom left side. It's the more common thing to do. Solar, you know what? I wouldn't mind him trying to take these further out bases already as well. Just to start putting down some spore crawlers there. Right, let's get the spore crawlers pushed up. Start really threatening this area here. To be fair, we haven't really seen that much. Oh, actually, I wanted to say we haven't seen that much trading, but already 2,000 minerals down here in overall units lost for Solar. Alright, there we go. Now he's getting something here. But still, it's not the best. It's not the utmost best. Which is why he needs to have more bases, right? Which is usually the case as the Zerg. You just need to have more bases. Yeah, you're quicker at expanding. You're a bit more mobile usually when it comes to certain units. You're the race that needs to grab those few more bases. A lot of a quicker remax, that is for sure. Right, like the Infestors. Couple of Brood Lords mixed in as well. I don't mind. Might make it doable to actually attack these locations, right? Just have the 5 Brood Lords there to actually pose a threat. You don't have to send in roaches or hydralisks like that are going to get picked off and then, you know, kind of lose that value there. Brood Lords kind of stick behind. The Corruptors will protect him together with the Vipers and the Infestors. Hang around above the Spore Crawlers as well. this becomes a game of who dares attack their opponent now. Who even wants to try and break their opponent? Still no mothership from Zest. Oh no, wait, never mind. There it is. My bad. There is a mothership. Don't you worry. Adrenal gland links showing their prowess. Being able to shut down a Nexus nice and quick. Threatening the backside of the carriers as the Void Rays. They are a lot quicker, which means they sometimes can leave the carriers unprotected. As both these players now starting to grab hold of these very important corner bases in the top right and the bottom left side. But the way that Solar is playing though, I mean, there is a very possibility that he is going to trade super efficiently. That possibility is there. But I do think that Zest would have to push into him for that to be a thing that is going to happen, you know? Where the Banelings go? Oh, there they are. Oh, they didn't have Baneling speed just yet. Only now starting it up. Maybe forgot about it. It happens sometime, right? When you don't use Banelings in the early game. Or the mid game. And you just go straight up into the late game. It's like, alright, well... I guess I never had a moment where I needed Banelings, so I just never started up speed. We'll have to wait for a little bit before we try to attack this base now. Zest is just chilling with his mothership at the top base, the 12 o'clock. Maybe he's waiting to, you know, really be able to get a good visual on Solar's army. Wait for Solar to make a move. And then as soon as he kind of holds the defense, he will be able to just send that mothership across. Recall. Bam. Right, is that the plan? That's what I think is going to happen here. Oh, great storm right there. One more storm necessary. Yep, that solves that situation. At least he got the Eye Templar there. Oh, nice feedbacks as well. No struggles for the Red Brothers so far. Resources income advantage. Right, let's take another look at the units lost tab as well. Oh, that is not great. It's definitely not getting better for Solar here, which makes me wonder even more so that, you know, he just is going to need to have a base advantage here. There's no way he cannot, you know, have a base advantage and still win this, I feel like. Unless if Zest just makes a really ridiculous move here and loses a big portion of his army. Which I'm hoping Zest won't do. Couple of Banelings here. You know what? There's no High Templar. Ooh, that is unfortunate. Storm's dead underneath the Observer here. Very nice vision from Zest overall, actually. I'm sure they're, you know, he's losing them now on the bottom side, but they were there for a long time. Could start to heat up here. These players do decide to go for it. Zest spread out his Void Rays. Going for the main base, it looks like, with the probes being a bit of a distraction here. The Zerglings and the Ultralisk should be able to deal with that, but oh my, in the main base suddenly. Is that enough? Doesn't look like it is. That just barely stays alive. An assassination attempt onto the Hive Tack did not bear any fruit. Void Rays, they got close, but they did not succeed. Parasitic Bomb coming in together with the Corruptors. Nice control from Solar, keeping everything afloat. Starting up more spore crawlers. More creep to be spread as well. So both of these players still kind of passively in their own areas, in their own theaters of war. So a lot of Dark Templar. That's a lot of spore crawlers as well. Only 3 spines. That is still difficult to deal with. But transfuse. Come on, you gotta keep using it if you want to try to save that base. Mine. That's unfortunate. Losing a base there. Felt like he had so much transfuse that he you know, should have been able to push through. Maybe just trying to bring in more units. You know, you can only press so many buttons at once after all. Oh, more banelings. That's what we were waiting for. And, well, then, yeah. The majority of static defense. Getting on top of some probes as well. 8 of them fall. But Zest was already sacrificing probes. His bank is magnificent. I don't think he minds too much. Losing 8 more probes. So we can see, instead of remaking probes, he's making more army units after all. It's like, oh, okay, I guess I'll have 4 more High Templar. That's alright. It's fine with me, man. Solar on a very low drone count as well, of course. Transforming most of them into this, his own static defense. 60 spore crawlers spread it across the map. 6 spine crawlers. Still more on the way. There we go. Okay. This is the most important base right now, I want to say, in this game. This base right here. Solar already starting to spread some creep towards it. See if that is even becoming a thing in this game, though, as we already have the armies pretty close together. Do back out of that situation, alright? Alright. But yeah, okay, back to this base, right? The very important base. Zest needs to have it. Solar needs to deny Zest from having it. So having a good amount of creep there is very, very much a good thing here for Solar. Which is why Zest now cleaning it up. Even sending in more of his own probes willingly to try and get rid of more army supply. Or make more room for army supply. As the spore crawlers here, but together with the corruptors that come in, looks like that will hold the top side. It's an awkward dance of balance right now, trying to find openings between the two. A lot of High Templar here. It's interesting to see that Zest had the Void Rays spread out for most of this game, right? He had just a different hit squad of Void Rays on the bottom here. Trying to make life difficult. Solo went up to quite a few more Broodlords here. Are gonna do well against those Archons and the High Templar. The Menagio line of the Zergs. The Menagio line of the Protoss. Looks like this one for the Protoss not as big. Only 3 cannons remain. Make that 2. It's not really an important nexus, though, to be fair, anymore at this point in time, but taking it down is still kind of nice. Here we are. This is a big attack, though, coming in from Zest. Did use his mothership to call in all the units from the bottom to the top. A quick maneuver, and that is going to be able to shut down the Spore Crawler entrenchments on the top side. Mothership does get knocked out of the sky, but you know what? Zest did capture a base here. And he's not trading horribly horrendous. Fungals are doing okay against these little interceptors. Good Fungals on the carriers now as well, together with a Parasitic Bomb doing massive damage against the Void Rays. But I don't think we have enough Corruptors here to really push on through. Especially with those Archons underneath the Corruptors. That looks like a dangerous place to be. And GG is called. A quick, sudden end to a game. Top red side, blue Zerg player fighting for the KIC. Gamerinos, he is Solar. And all the gamer boys and girls of the Dragon Phoenix kind. Here is your man in the bottom left side, the red Protoss player. It is Zest. Isn't he lovely? Definitely knows his way around with those carriers, that is for sure. Looks like unless if he loses 2 bases before he has 3 carriers, he does manage to do quite a bit against Solo here. Cybercore with a expanding Nexus, yeah, right in front of it. We'll have a greedy opening. Solar in a bit of a pinch here, right? Because this is the final game if he loses this, at least. But he still has to win 2 games in order to advance into the next part of this bout that he, you know, would, I assume, like to be a part of. The secondary best of 5 for today to partake in. Talking about the rest of the series here, of course, guys, remember to hit up with that Matcherino. I almost had that Matcherino code. We don't have codes anymore. Well, I guess there are codes, but you don't have to, you know, figuratively remember something or copy-paste it or anything, right? You just press claim code button and blammo, you're done. So hit us up over there. Would be greatly appreciated. Other than that, enjoy some StarCraft, guys. Just relax, unwind. Have another sip of your drink, your herbal tea, your herbal beers, herbal water, herbal fizzy pop, whatever it is. Have some more of your frozen jams. Have some. Lord gets another scout off, sees the Void Ray and the Oracle next in queue. But then again, we've seen that before. And we've seen it go multiple ways, so it's kind of the problem with this opening, right? As a Zerg, you're like, alright, nice, now I can see what my opponent is doing. I kind of know what's possible, but I'm not entirely sure what I'm supposed to do. Because it can still go in quite a few directions. That's the toughest spot to be in as a Zerg. Okay, getting a good scout on his the third Nexus is a good one. Does give him a bit of a clue as to what the intentions of Zest is here. Oracle getting zoned away rather efficiently, so that is nice for Solar. The odds of game number 5 increasing for him that way. As long as he keeps himself from losing those workers. You need a good, strong economy in order to beat back the macro of the Protoss. And in some cases, you know what, it may even feel to me like, oh. Uh-oh. How many drones is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Is it 5 or is it like 6? I think it's 5. Well, Void Ray, a bit of an opportunist. Comes in as the vulture unit that it is. It's like, oh, you're having a bad day over here. You're Probably angry about this happening, aren't you? Well, let me make it worse. Right, more Void Race. Yeah, sure. I mean, it's been working out so far, but then again, it hasn't worked out against this push that's coming. Once again, across the map, it's a lot of a bigger map, but this creep highway, you know, is facilitating a nice quick run into the Protoss area here. That's a lot of queens once again. Not that much energy on them though, to be fair. But there's only 4 Void Rays to meet them. Make that 5 pretty soon though. Alright, +1 air weapons should be able to finish up here as well. Solar's not going to be able to shut that down in time. The boon for Zest here, of course. But he's a lot less prepared here, it seems. Oh my, no shield batteries whatsoever. Solar. And off we go again, once more. Oh, no, yeah, there we go. Solar's not even, like, he doesn't even care anymore. He just knows that's gonna happen. So, he doesn't even try to get his next roll anymore. He's a broken man. Oh. Well, I guess on this map, you just kind of send it right-click here. If you don't see the probe over here, you'll be able to go back and get the natural probe. Seeing the probe, it's like, alright, just keep moving. Just keep moving. I'm not sure if it's worth doing this every single game, right? Because then your opponent just is aware that it's probably gonna happen and does this, right? Where it's just like, alright, well, maybe I have to walk, what? Couple of extra steps, but you had to send that probe all the way across the map, and that was way early in the game as well. But so far, Zest not seeming to struggle too much to get himself in the late game, unless if Solar actually presses the mid game pushing with the queens and such. What is that sound? Did you hear that? It's like, what was this? Is it this? Is it this? Oh, it's this. It's like a gyro chamber. Interesting. Man, that would be the next evolution of StarCraft 2 maps, right? There would be gyro chambers with like units inside, and if you break the chamber, the unit becomes yours. Man, that'd be crazy. That'd be crazy. So many different rushes would start happening. Could be fun. Could be fun. I mean, not sure how you would balance it, but if you could, it would be cool. It would be a fun thing. It's always nice, right? Just being able to come up with ideas like that. You don't have to really research them. You don't have to develop them. You don't have to actually make them work or anything like that. You can just sit there and be like, oh, wouldn't this be crazy? Wouldn't this be cool? And then you're like, alright, yeah, we're done now. No more work required from me. I did my part. The rest is up to Blizzard or any other game developer. And if they mess it up, right, it's it's like, yeah, you didn't do it right. It's not what I had in mind. Oh my, what are we seeing here? Disruptors? Yes, give me. Together with a Warp Prism. Oh, and then cherry on top. Warp Prism speed. Alright. Zest digging deep here in his books of strategies. This is not something very common, and to bring this out in game number 5. That's kind of goofy. It's kind of wild. He's done a really good job so far keeping this hidden from Solar as well. I think Solar might just be under the impression that it's a adept attack coming in. Although he's not seeing a lot of adepts here. There's 4 gateways as well now being morphed in. That's going to go up to 6. Zest, if he manages to get a good connection going with 1 or 2 disruptors here, and he has himself, how many? 8 gateways in total. This could start to end very, very quickly. His entire army is just going to appear right now. War Prism. Oh, the War Prism already a lot of damage sustained. 3 queens in pursuit. Goes for a single drone. Oh, that's not great. That is definitely not the best disruptor shots I've ever seen. And the queens are still hot on the tail of this War Prism. Half HP right now. The shield's already gone as well, of course. Still trying to find an opportunity here. Zerglings. Okay, yeah, let's go. A couple of Zerglings. But I don't think that is how Zest wanted this to go. Solar still having a Zergling on these expansions as well. Keeping tabs on what the follow-up here is for Zest. And he knows it's not a base, so he's starting to prepare. He's making a lot of roaches. That's pretty much all he's doing. And I think that's the right call for the time being. Seeing this attack coming now. Sentries with a Colossus as well. Disruptors. Let's see, did they get a couple of drones there? That is it. Pushing on forward. Solar and Zest here. Or, well, Zest in particular pushing forwards, but Solar having to respond to it, of course. Never mind. Maybe not. Typical Zest. He moves in, he makes the Zerg make units, and then he moves back. And he tries to do disruptor drops once again. We pull away with the drones, but a lot of mining lost. Okay, that's properly walled off for the time being. Force field. Oh, Zerglings get in. Losing one. Okay, one. It's alright. Guess he's a bit preoccupied here. Ooh, that's a good one, but no secondary disruptor shot to follow that up with. Zest needs to make something happen here, right? Like, he needs to get aggressive here. Solar's just been on 3 bases and he's been making roaches. That's all he's doing. I feel like Zest needs to make something happen. Couple of Zergling run-bys here and there, just buying an immense amount of time for Solar. Solar, I don't know how he knows about this type of stuff, but he finds this moment again here, where Zest is moving out and the Zerglings just running straight for the probe line, going into the main base as well right now, as the Protoss army arrives in the area in between the second and main base of Solar. Files, not fantastic, not horrible. Devs did manage to clean up the Zerglings pretty much fully. Zest still pressured to make something happen here. Full side doing a lot of work. The Immortals as well from the top side, but they are shooting queens there. There we go, now starting to target down some roaches, doing a lot more DPS that way, of course. Disruptor, one more remains, doesn't find a good connection, but this might just be enough Protoss here to just break on through regardless. The counterattacks were nice, a good effort, attempt, but it's just not enough Zerg here anyway. Solar not gonna have enough. Take a look at the units lost at. Yeah, that is telling a tale. 3 times the amount of minerals lost here. And Zest takes the crown, wins game number 5 as well.